Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what's out there? Somewhere above us, orbiting at over 400 kilometers above Earth, there's a giant laboratory floating in space, the International Space Station, or ISS. It's not just a spacecraft. It's a symbol of human collaboration, scientific discovery, and technological innovation. Today, we're going to uncover the secrets of the International Space Station, how it was built, how astronauts live and work there, and what mysteries it holds for the future of space exploration. Let's start with something fascinating. Did you know that the ISS moves at a speed of about 28,000 kilometers per hour? That's fast enough to circle the entire Earth in just 90 minutes. This means astronauts on board experience 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every single day. Imagine waking up to a sunrise, then seeing the sun set just 45 minutes later, only for it to rise again shortly after. Time works very differently in space, but how did this incredible structure come to be? The ISS wasn't built all at once. It's actually made of multiple modules, like pieces of a puzzle, which were launched separately and assembled in orbit over many years. The first module, Zarya, was launched in 1998 by Russia. Shortly after, the Unity module was added by NASA, and over the next 2 decades, more pieces were sent up, including labs, living quarters, and massive solar panels that generate electricity for the station. Building the ISS was not just a technological challenge. It was also an unprecedented global effort. The station is a collaboration between 5 space agencies: NASA from the United States, Roscosmos from Russia, JAXA from Japan, ESA from Europe, and CSA from Canada. Over 15 countries have contributed to its construction and maintenance, making it one of the greatest international projects in human history. But what exactly happens inside the ISS? The ISS is primarily a research laboratory. It's where astronauts conduct groundbreaking experiments in microgravity, studies that would be impossible on Earth. One of the biggest advantages of doing research on the ISS is the absence of gravity. Scientists can study how materials behave in weightlessness, how human bodies adapt to space, and even how fire burns differently. For example, on Earth, flames rise because hot air moves up and cold air moves down. But in space, there's no up or down, so flames take on a strange spherical shape, burning in all directions equally. One of the most important studies on the ISS involves the human body. Astronauts experience muscle loss, bone density reduction, and even changes in their vision due to prolonged exposure to microgravity. Scientists study these effects to understand how humans can survive longer missions, like a future journey to Mars. Another key area of research is growing food in space. Since resupplying fresh food from Earth is difficult, scientists are experimenting with growing vegetables like lettuce and tomatoes in microgravity. These studies are essential for future space travel, where astronauts may need to live off their own crops on distant planets. But the ISS isn't just a lab, it's also a home. Astronauts live and work on the station for about 6 months at a time. Their daily routine is carefully structured. They wake up, check in with mission control, and start their work, whether that's maintaining equipment, conducting experiments, or even taking spacewalks outside the station. When it's time to sleep, they don't lie down in beds like we do on Earth. Instead, they sleep in small sleeping bags attached to the walls. There's no gravity, so there's no need for a mattress. They just float inside their little compartments, drifting in place as they sleep. Food is also very different in space. Since liquids don't flow like they do on Earth, astronauts have to drink through special straws to prevent spills. Meals are mostly prepackaged and dehydrated, requiring them to add water before eating. A simple task like eating a sandwich is impossible. There's no bread in space because it would create crumbs that could float into machinery and cause damage. Instead, astronauts use tortillas for their sandwiches. And then there's the bathroom situation. One of the most common questions people ask about life in space. Since there's no gravity, traditional toilets wouldn't work. Instead, astronauts use vacuum-powered toilets that use airflow to pull waste into a sealed container. Even urine is filtered and recycled into drinking water. Yes, astronauts drink purified urine. It might sound unpleasant, but in space, every drop of water is precious. One of the most breathtaking aspects of life on the ISS is the view. There's a special window on the station called the cupola, which gives astronauts a stunning panoramic view of Earth. They can see entire continents, massive weather patterns, and even the northern lights from above. Some astronauts say seeing Earth from space changes their perspective forever, making them feel deeply connected to humanity and our planet. Of course, life on the ISS comes with challenges. Radiation exposure is a big concern. Since the station is outside Earth's protective atmosphere, astronauts are exposed to higher levels of radiation from the sun and cosmic rays. This is one of the biggest obstacles for long-term space travel. Then there's the danger of space debris. Even a tiny piece of space junk traveling at high speeds could seriously damage the ISS. To protect against this, the station has shielding, and astronauts sometimes have to adjust the station's orbit to avoid collisions. Despite these challenges, the ISS remains one of the most important stepping stones for future space exploration. The knowledge gained here is preparing us for even bigger missions, to the Moon, to Mars, and beyond. But how much longer will the ISS last? The station is aging, and while NASA and its partners plan to operate it until at least 2030, discussions are already underway about what comes next. Some private companies are working on building commercial space stations, and NASA is focusing on its next big project, the Lunar Gateway, a space station that will orbit the Moon and serve as a hub for deep space exploration. So what does the future hold? The ISS has proven that humans can live and work in space for extended periods, and that international cooperation is key to making space exploration possible. As we move forward, we're not just thinking about the ISS, we're thinking about humanity's place in the cosmos. The dream of one day living among the stars is no longer science fiction, it's becoming reality. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember, floating above us is a laboratory where humans from all over the world are working together to unlock the mysteries of space. And one day, what we learn up there might just take us even farther than we ever imagined. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this journey through space, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment about what fascinates you most about the International Space Station. Until next time, keep looking up, because the future of space exploration is just beginning.